Okay, can you guys see me now? Share screen. Okay, can you guys see me now? Hopefully you can all see me. Okay, can you guys see me now? Okay, hang on. It has gone live. You've got to love live stuff happening live and not even doing what it's meant to do live. So, all right. I think it's working now. That's just like, whoa, bit of a panic before we go on. All right, that's always good to get the adrenaline happening. So first I'm going to start. There was a comment made. I'm going to bring this up on, let's see if I can do this. No, does not want to bring it up. Okay, comment made on my TikTok about me mocking people for not having a stop loss. And it's like, I want to address this because I'm not mocking people for not having a stop loss. If you don't have a stop loss, that's your choice. And if you lose money, that's the result. So you might go, well, I don't lose money if I don't sell anything. But if that coin keeps going down and down and down, and you're sitting there going, oh my God, I'm losing money. What should I do, Lisa? Because I have all of you jumping into my DMs when we get a major pullback. And yeah, so if you don't have a stop loss, you're the idiot. Trade with a stop loss. If you're trading, have a stop loss. Have an entry and an exit plan, and have a clear one. Like, not just, oh, I think I'll sell at this point, or I think I'll put my stop loss here, or, you know, maybe I'll put a stop loss on it tomorrow if it goes up a bit. When you enter a trade. I'm not talking about hodling here. I'm talking about a trade. You have a stop loss. You have a clear entry and exit. That's it. That's what trading is about. It's not about sitting there going, oh my God, if this crashes, I'm going to lose all my money. Especially if you're margin and leverage trading. Have a stop loss. It's non-negotiable because that's your money, that's your capital. If you're not having a stop loss, it's gambling. It's just pure gambling. That's it. So Wendy here can have that opinion that I'm mocking people. I'm trying to educate people. I'm trying to allow people to make money in this really difficult market. And if you want to go against the rules and you want to not have a stop loss, that's your choice. Because at the end of the day, you're the person pushing the buttons. You're the person making those decisions whether you enter or you exit. And that's it. I'm not responsible for your money. So you can come to me all you want and say, oh, Lisa, I clicked a link. Oh, Lisa, I sent money. Oh, Lisa, I did whatever. It's like at the end of the day, educate yourself. And that's what I'm trying to do here. Every week I come on and I try to educate you about the market. I try to tell you to have a stop loss. You know, if you're in my group, you get warnings all of the time when I do BTC updates when it's looking a little bit unstable. So heed those warnings and make some educated decisions. Don't just jump into these markets and not know what you're doing. So end of my rant, and I'm going to get into Bitcoin. But it's really frustrating when people say that I'm mocking people. I'm not. I'm educating. And if you don't like my education, go to somebody else that's just going to wrap you up and go, oh, here you go. This is poor you. It's like, nobody is coming to save you. Nobody. Save yourself. Have a stop loss. The end. So there we go. That's my rant. So yeah, let's jump into BTC. I will get a bigger chart. And before we do start, Femex, remember we've got Femex free signals. They are sponsored by Femex. They enable you to come into getting started in crypto and get those signals as long as you're signing up to Femex with the referral code that you see here, HLRVM8. And so go to getting started in crypto, click the Femex free signals. It's literally free as long as you're on Femex. So make sure you do that. So BTC weekly close, amazing, but it's still under resistance. So this week we have about 6 billion in futures. We've got weekly, monthly, quarterly, and 6 monthly futures releasing. Now they release tomorrow. So I expect tomorrow is going to be quite volatile. They may release over a couple of days. Sometimes they do that. Majority of the time they release over one day. So they expired on the 28th. They release on the 1st. That's tomorrow. So we've got a pivot for this. When I go back to, I'm going to go drop it down to a 4 hour so we can get the pivots. You can see on my charts, I've got lots of those blue dash lines. They're my pivots. Now, this major pivot here, so we've technically got 5 very messy waves here. So if we do come down, we can go as low as 102, probably a little bit lower, around about 102-ish, depending on wicks. We might get a wick. So, and I don't disallow wicks in these regions because it's a leverage market, we can allow that. And that's the only overlap that I will allow in Elliott Wave, just a wick. I would say we're coming back down to this 105, sort of 106 range and retesting this breakout zone one last time. We do have 100 and 200 MA in this range. And when we take this up to the daily, we've got 21 and EMA and 9 EMA support in this range. All the way down here, we have got the daily MAs. Don't worry so much about that. This is looking still quite bullish. Ideally, the most ideal pattern we could see here is a breakout in this zone, coming up, hitting this 110 pivot, coming back down, retouching that pivot, and then heading towards this, oops, we don't want that, channel resistance. So that channel resistance here is 115. So when we go to the BLX, we're still a little bit low on that target of the resistance in this region. So that's now at 123. It goes up a little bit as we go past. So it's still looking really good to head up to that region. We still haven't broken the high. So ideally, we'd like to break the high. We have enough waves in the pattern that we can do that. Failing that, if there's no breakout, all right, worst comes to worst, Crypto Capo is in his Telegram channel telling everyone that we're going to 60K. So worst comes to worst and we go to 60K, have a stop loss. So heed that original warning that I had at the start of this live. So have your stop loss ready. Now, on the daily, we're quite oversold on the stock. That doesn't mean anything because the RSI is still really good. The MACD is sitting fairly neutral. So this is our ideal scenario that we break out over the next, 24 hours and we start heading up. If not, then we're probably going into a WXY and this will look something like this. So 168 is sitting down on this 86K range, can go as low to that 80K. I don't think, it's going to break down to 60K like he says, but it depends. Is BlackRock and everyone that's, looking at ETFs, are they looking for price action or are they currently looking for yield? Because if they're looking for yield, we're going down. If they're looking for price, we're going up. So this is the scenario that we've got to sort of, there's so many new factors in the market this year. It's not just, okay, we sit here, we've got futures releasing, we've got people entering the market. You know, as you can see, there's a lot of questions like, if there's so much money moving around, why isn't the price moving? So that inspired that OTC video that's on my Twitter and YouTube and everything. So if you haven't seen that, have a look, because that explains that a lot of these big Bitcoins you're seeing floating around everywhere are not actually ever getting to exchange. They stay on chain, they move from wallet to wallet, and that's it. And then there's a cash transaction. So that's not sort of bringing any money into the market because it's all off chain. So the only thing that moves price are the ETFs and the exchanges. So if there's no liquidity, there's no movement. We go sideways. We continue to go sideways. And with more and more regulations, it's becoming sort of more so like the stock market. So we get smaller moves, smaller direction, that kind of thing. So with that being said, the weekly close was very bullish. Doesn't mean that we don't pull back. So provided we can hold that 105, 106 range, we're looking good for that 123. That's looking really, really good. Monthly close is tomorrow. So let me just zoom in on this. Take some of these off. So we're still under that resistance on the monthly. But, you know, we've got 3 green candles. That's a really good sign. Last one's kind of a spinning top, didn't break the high. So unless before the close, those futures release and we can get to this point, then we've got 3 white crows. So that means we're going to head up. So, and we'll get a full body candle that will, you know, go up to this 114K. So that's our ideal scenario, ideal. So we're really dependent on the liquidity entering the market and those futures releasing. We will know if that's happening if we start getting tether prints. So watch the whale calls. Again, for those tether prints, I know that Paolo from USDT comes in and he's like, it's an issuance. The only reason they need to issue USDT is the market needs more liquidity. So without liquidity, without people coming in, giving money, buying USDT, there's no money entering. So when there's more money entering and more people wanting USDT, then they have to issue the USDT. So that's why those are so important. So for Bitcoin, we're kind of in no man's land at the moment. We could go either way. This monthly candle is looking really nice to hit that resistance at about 114. So that's kind of what I'm aiming for at the moment, but I do have a stop loss if it goes the other way. So that's our ideal scenario for the BLX coming up and hitting that 123, coming back down, you know, depending on if it sits sort of high, goes sideways, because, you know, the market's eating up the Bitcoin at the moment because it, you know, even though it's not going up to 200 grand instantly, that Bitcoin's getting eaten up. We don't have huge amounts on exchanges at the moment. So we just need to get more retail into the market for that to happen. So yeah, it's looking quite good. Bitcoin dominance is still quite high. We've got a little bit more room. We've been playing out that channel. We're sitting on the top of that channel. But ideally, it looks like we're going to go up to 67. And I think by the end of all of this, we're going to be at about 73%. Once we hit 73%, I think that's going to be full swing into alt season. We're not quite there yet. I think we're going to have sort of mini alts, like sort of bouncing in between, like we're seeing now, you know, 5 to 10% days. You know, if we get sort of like some news or something on an alt, sometimes we're getting 20 to 30%. So it's a little bit more like the stock market. And as regulations do come in, we're not getting those massive pumps, unfortunately. So I did say back in 2020, 2021, that was probably the last of the mega bull markets that we're going to see. And when you look at that and you look at Bitcoin, and we go back to the start of this bull market, let me just zoom out here. And we look, like, literally go, okay, so for all of the people going, well, we haven't really had a bull market. We haven't so much had it in alts. We've still had some really good movements. But so when we look at this chart, that's a 600% move. 600% move since December 22. So we're looking at 18 months of movement here for 600%. That's massive. So when you say, okay, we haven't had a bull market, yes, we have had a bull market. It's just more regulated now. It's not like we've seen previous years where, we've gone 3,000, 4,000%. So it's still there. It's still happening. It's just not as explosive as it has been. So yeah, just know where, buy the dips. If you're like stacking Bitcoin, buy the dips, because overall it's going to even out. And hodling Bitcoin is a good theory and a good method long term. So total keeps rejecting at my pivot. So it's right at the pivot, just hit it today and has rejected. So 3.31 trillion. We need that to break down. And then next movement, we want to hit that. Hang on, let me get rid of that one. The resistance is sitting at about 3.38, but the major one is at 3.49. And once we get to that one, that's probably when BTC dominance is going to be getting quite high. So that's going to be the momentum that we see. DXY has been pulling back. We're nearly to that support zone at 96.5. It's moving in the right direction. May have a small bounce over the next day or two. Nothing to worry about. I think it's still going down. US economy is not looking great, so I cannot see that going up long term. So if it does, it's just a relief bounce. Ethereum. So everyone's all excited about Ethereum and saying, it's going up. Well, it's under the channel. It still hasn't broken back into that channel. So it's not looking good for Ethereum as far as I'm concerned. But every time I say that, it does go up. The only thing that stops me thinking this market is going straight up at the moment is this stock is about to turn down. Every time we've hit that on Ethereum on the daily, we can have a look. So at this point, we were here. At this point, we were here. You can see that we get a pullback. We haven't crossed down as yet, so it just means it might have one more wave heading up before a larger pullback. But we're still sitting under that channel at the moment. Until it enters back in that channel, it's bearish. So Bitcoin, ETH versus Bitcoin, this is looking more bullish. So that to me looks like, okay, Ethereum's got that last wave, like I said, before it does get that pullback and that crossover. We can see that the MACD here is about to cross, and we've got on the daily here the 9 and 21 EMA about to cross. They're looking really good, swooping up, and the 100 MA as support. So it's been quite a good indicator for Ethereum moving. So this does look very much so like Ethereum's about to have another wave up. Hopefully get back into that channel and stay in that channel and keep moving. So I'm not going to have a look at a huge amount of alts because they've only done sort of 5 to 10% this week. But a few that I'm liking is, this is Sonic. So came back down. So depending on which way Bitcoin goes, a lot of these have not broken pivots. So the pivot on Sonic is sitting up around 34 for this one. So this could be a larger pattern ABC for it's still corrective coming back down. So, you know, we've got the 5 waves here coming up. I don't think we could have, you know, technically maybe a 5 wave in there, but looking more so that we've got one more wave pulling back on some of these. Solana has broken out of the downtrend channel or wedge, and I do think that this is going into a B wave. So this is our A wave, this is our B wave. So that is looking a little bit, unless we've got like the 5 waves there. So Solana has a very, very, very messy sort of like ABC here. So that could be what Solana is seeing. Or we could be doing a D and an E, and we've just broken out of that region and then coming back down. So that could be worst case scenario for Solana. So, or else we're going into our B wave. So this is if Solana is still corrective, we're coming out maybe doing a flat. If this was just a fully complete correction, then this is impulsive. So this is going to be our wave 1. So Solana might be leading the show at the moment. So if Solana can get up to this kind of 618 region, which is about 184 to 187, then that's going to be breaking the pivot, and it's going to be in a bullish pattern. So that's going to be really, really good. And Solana so far, every run has led along the way. So if we can see that for Solana, we can hold this breakout and convert that resistance to support. We've currently got the daily support of the 100 MA sitting right beneath. So if that flips and we do get just a minor pullback across the market, just to reset that stock indicator, and then we continue to go up over the next few days, Solana should be hitting that sort of 184 to 187. Failing that, if we get a bigger pullback, we don't want to be breaking that low of 126 for Solana. I do think Solana looks a little bit more bullish than the rest, though. Sweet. So this one as well, we've got potentially 5 waves here. We want to hold this region here about 2.74. On any pullback here. So it could have, this could be our completed 5 waves. It did break the high. So we've got 1, 2, 3, held the first wave here, 4, 5. So that might be our first wave, really ugly one. And then it must hold the low of 2.29 for any pullback. Ideally, if this is still impulsive, 2.74 needs to hold. And it's sitting on, this is the 4 hour, so sitting on the 100 MA. When we take that up to the daily, we do have the 9 and the 21, and we're currently sitting on the 9 EMA. So this, to me, because we've got confluence in this region with the indicators, normally indicates that we're sort of sitting in a region that could potentially be a reversal zone. So that's what indicators mean when we're seeing lots of confluence. So the next stop for SWE is about the 3 mark, coming up to touch and retest that 100 MA. And on the 4 hour chart, when we drop that down, is the 200 MA. So when we look for those confluence zones, we go, okay, we're sitting on the 100 MA at the moment. If we can get a breakout here, we're going to 3. And if not, we need to just hold that low. But it is looking, you know, fairly neutral on the indicators, except for that stock at the moment. So yeah, that's kind of where the market's sitting. We're waiting for tomorrow. Yeah, that's pretty much what we've got. It's just one step at a time at the moment as we go up, down, and sideways. But yeah. And as always, and if you have, I know I always tell everyone don't click links, but all of my links in my link tree are my links. They're not anyone else's links. They're all like obviously not any scammy links or anything. So if you choose to click those links, there's a link in there for a $1 crypto guide. So you can get the ebook of this, and it will give you 21 days of information on that, give it to somebody that's new to crypto, or if you're new to crypto, jump in and get this $1 crypto guide and go through the next 21 days learning crypto. And it will tell you how to do OCOs, how to do stop losses, everything that I was growling at you guys at the beginning of this live. So that's what you want to do. So that's in my link tree on all the platforms, and you will find it there, $1 crypto guide. So that's about it. I will catch you on X, on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, LinkedIn. I think I've got them all. And of course, getting started in crypto. And if you're not a member, grab that guide. There's a deal in there. So thanks for watching, guys.